I'm kind of a little bit scared because it get more right wing, and I already escaped the war, 26 years ago, and I don't want to escape again. It's because I don't know how it will be the next 4 or 5 years, as example in Germany.
Especially Roma organizations, we have a strong connection right now because we know everyone knows it will be hard for us in the future and right now also to do our work.
Roma suffer from anti-Gypsyism and from racism.
When you don't do something for our rights, nobody will do that. We see that.
Welcome to the podcast Amaro Voice. Amaro is from the Romani language and means our. Sinti, Roma, and traveler voices among Europe. My name is Henry Michi. If you are listening now for the first time, I'm a journalist and a Roma from originally from Kosovo but living in Germany. Thank you for listening or watching our last episodes, our last interviews this many months ago. Now we will start some team topic episodes with our new co-moderator, Melissa Sejdi. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, I'm Melissa. I'm a student. I'm 26 right now. I had birthday and I live in Germany and I study in Macedonia. And yeah, I'm really glad to be here. And I think it's really important to speak about different topics. And for me, it's the first time to speak in a podcast completely in English. So hopefully everything will be good.
Yeah, I think it will be fine. So yeah, we know us for many years. Do you
Many
remember
years.
when we met for the first time?
I think, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think the first time was it called Bundesjugendtreffen. Before that, it was Bundesjugendkonferenz from, it was in Berlin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Von Amaro Drom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was many years ago, but I'm not sure how long a
Mm-hmm.
time it will
Yeah.
be.
So yeah, the Bundesjugendkonferenz before and now the Bundesjugendtreffen from Amarodrom is something like the Kinabista or other events, but just for Germany, like a national event where many Roma youth from Germany meets, like for workshops.
And for connection, that is also
Yeah,
really
of course,
important to
also,
connect
and
with the
I think
people.
it. Yeah, of course. So I think it was in 2018 or 19.
Something like
Uh,
that, yeah.
yeah, something like that.
A
So
long time
uh,
ago.
yeah, I started with activism in very late when I was 27 in 2017. So our today's topic is about activism. So nowadays we have in Europe many um, parties who are very right, like right wing. Now in Germany we have a critical situation, but also in other many European countries. And I think nowadays is activism very important. NGO work, like educational work about the Holocaust, and many other topics. So later we will talk about how is the situation now, and also your expertise about NGO work, and also where you live. But before I was thinking maybe to talk a bit like personally, how did you started to be activist? So when it was the first time, and what was your motivation?
Ooh, now I need to remember. I think I started really early, I would say, because of my dad. My dad works a long time in this area, in this non profit organizations, and is also a Roma. I'm also Roma. And I think it really started 2013, 14 when we started with our NGO and here in Leipzig. And yeah, after that, I did a lot with my dad in our NGO Roma Nostumnal. And then after some years, I will say I was 16, 17 years old, I started with my co-worker Didi. And you know him, right? Didi, you know Didi.
Yeah.
And so we was in Berlin, and that was a project from Amaro Voice, and we learned how to talk with other people about our Roma history and how we can make workshops. And it was really interesting because we learned a lot about our history, how to create safe space for yourself, and that was a really good start for my work to learn, okay, how I can speak with other people about our history. And also, when people judge Roma, how you can conflict with them or how you can speak with them without, yeah, to be hurt, you know. So I started with, we can say, 16, 17 years old.
You started very early. I think it's also the influence from your dad, because your dad is
Right.
for many years also before activist. So I think kind of it's interesting. Everybody who I met who started very early, or who started early um, to deal with these topics, is because their parents started. So like many friends who I met from different events, they start very early because also their parents. So I started not early, 27, but because we escaped from the war from Kosovo and in the Balkans, in the former Yugoslavia. My dad was also like Roma activist, but then we didn't have time. You know, when we came in Germany as refugees, we didn't have time to be like activists or to do NGO work. So we needed first to focus on ourselves. But I always was related to these topics and knew about something. You know, always. But then like first time I think 2017 I started I never was nationally, no, I started internationally directly with Dikina Bistam.
I
Yeah,
mean, you hear everything like some history things from our families, right?
mhm.
I mean, you know who you are and you hear what's going on, maybe also in other countries. I mean, my family, especially from my dad, is from Macedonia. So you hear about, okay, what's going on in Skopje and Macedonia, and also what's going on in Germany, because a lot of people talk about that, and you are in the inner circle, you know. So you hear something and then you tried to learn something about it, and then you have also this connection, you know.
Yeah, that's true. So that's an interesting topic. We will talk about this, but just shortly for the people to introduce them, because maybe not everybody in Europe knows. So you already mentioned some names of NGOs. Can you introduce them shortly? Your NGO in your state, like Romanus Sumnal, but also Amaro Drom.
The first thing that I want to talk to you is Romano Suna, because it's also my work, my creation, kind of. Romano Suna was created 2013, 2014. And we are standing here in Leipzig, in Sachsen, in Germany. So it's the east side, right, from Germany. And yeah, we do a lot of work. So we have work with young people in, how to say, in Sachsen, but in the north. And uh, this city called Torgau. If you know, you know. If not, it's a small town. It's not small town, but it's really hard for Roma people there. I mean, on the east side, it's really hard for everyone right now. But yeah, we do a lot of work with young people. We have um, a good office here. You can visit us and we can talk about it. We have a festival every 2 years here. It's called Lacho Dives. So we do a lot for all people so they can meet us and our culture, and also not really the good side, also the bad sides. I mean, so you can talk about our history, what's going on with our people in the past, you know. So because not everyone knows that, and you want to share this information so the people can learn more, and many other things. Maybe I will talk about that in in the next episode when I have something in my mind. But we do a lot of work, and it's really grateful to do that. But it's also really hard right now because about the politics, what we talk about, what we want to talk about, is that the politics are really strict right now, really hard right now, and it's really hard for NGOs right now to to work with that. So you struggle, and I hope it will be changed. I hope we have a good chance to do our work for the future. And Amaro, I mean, we both know them. He was also many times there. So it's also for young people. It has many projects. They have the Bundesjugendtreffen, so you connect with young people, with Roma people and non-Roma people. That's really important to say. So everyone who is interested in this topic and in the history, so you can visit it every autumn. So every year is it, and yeah, it's really nice. And maybe you can say something about Amarodrom. I worked there, and I worked especially with young people here in my hometown. So it's also a project. So you can connect the people, the Roma people here, not only the Roma, also the non-Roma. But it's really the important thing is to connect people, young people, and talk about these topics and give them the opportunity to go also to the Bundesjugendtreffen.
I think the special about Amaro is it's like an umbrella NGO because it's national for Germany and has many other local NGOs from different states in Germany as partners, and
Right.
so like from Bavaria, example. I don't know if they have from Bavaria, but this was just example, or like for Berlin, and then from Eastern Germany and other parts of Germany. And our NGO, which is the project with the DWZ Foundation, which we do now this new podcast, Medien and Kulturzentrum Deutscher Roma, which means like media and cultural center, is now since end of the last year officially member of Amordrom. So we joined
Yay!
them. You know, the different members, different NGOs. Not every NGO do the same work. So, like example, we do media work. Other people do other type of work, um, like workshops or other NGO do. So everybody has different topics and different skills, you know. And I like this idea of having like umbrella NGO with Amaldrom, but the same also with Ternipe who do Dikina Vista, because then they have different NGOs and they can unite together and combine their skills and like together be more strong than when you're alone. So I think this is the um, special and importance of this.
I think it's like the same with young people. So you with Amarodrom you can connect with everyone in I mean also national but also international because they work with other projects together. But I mean it's like for young people to connect with other peoples. It's like the same kind of that with the and other NGOs with the umbrella NGO. So it's really good. Also, what's really important for young NGOs. So when you have a young organization, you find good partners and good help.
So before you mentioned about the family, so I think this is also interesting. I think this is something that maybe many different Roma from Europe can relate of, because you always have problems or somebody in the family, and you kind of sometimes get forced to be activists, you know, because we are activists or other Roma who are not maybe more activists. So, you know, there's, I think, different type of level of activism, but, you know, you always try to fight for your rights. And the thing is, Roma suffer from anti-Gypsyism and from racism, you know, and then you need to be an activist if you want to fight for rights, because if you will not do it by yourself, nobody will do for you, you know?
I mean, we can see it in Germany when you don't do something for our uh, yeah, for our rights, nobody will do that.
So I think this is a good point to start our new rubric. So in the last many episodes, like in the first 5 episodes with Stephanie Boschniak, but it also in other interview episodes that we had a rubric called Learning Romani Language. I mean, I was thinking our dialects are very similar. Maybe for the people who are liking to listen, learning Romani language, which dialect do you speak? I mean, I know, but for the people, you know.
So my family speaks Jambas.
Yeah, so I speak the Ali dialect, and for people like Jambazi, especially, I think, speaking in North Macedonia. If it's speaking in also other countries, you always can make a comment and tell us. So
Please, it's really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and Ali is also mostly speaking in the former Yugoslavia, like Serbia, Kosovo, North Macedonia. So these two dialects are very similar. So like I think I think they are almost the same, just with different accents and maybe some words with different pronunciation. So I was thinking we have similar dialect. It would not make sense if we continue this rubric. So the rubric learning Romani language we will continue in future episodes for interviews. So in interview episodes. So for that I was thinking I had the idea to create a new rubric, and I was asking AI. So I was asking ChatGPT, can you name me 10 stereotypes, like 10 examples of stereotypes about Romani people? So now we are starting with the rubric Breaking Stereotypes about Roma. Before I give you the name, the stereotype, I was thinking maybe to explain what means stereotype. So I was making a research. So stereotype is a widely held by oversimplified and often inaccurate belief or idea about a particular group or of people. So stereotypes can be based on race, nationality, gender, profession, or other characteristic. They often ignore individual differences and can lead to prejudice and discrimination. Stereotypes about Roma: number one, all Roma are criminals, they are thieves, and they scam other people.
It's every time the same. I thought maybe ChatGPT will be say something different, but you see, it's the same thing, same stereotypes every time. And I don't know what I can say about the stereotypes because I hear it so often. It's in the mind from the normal people. It's every time it's the same. So it's really hard for us when we do our work because we are confronting every time these stereotypes. And that's not true. Guys, it's not true. It's stereotyping. Come on.
So I think the main thing is, what I can say is that, of course, you have in every country, every nationality, every ethnic group, you have people who who are because of social problems who maybe are criminals, but it's not um, my thing to judge them. So if they do this, it's their problem. But you are not criminal because you are a Roma. You are maybe you get maybe criminal because when maybe you are poor, or I don't know uh, what the motivation is, but you don't do it because of your nationality. So you are not doing this. Example, like you are not criminal because you are German or American or I don't know Italian. You know.
How many times do you hear that when you say to someone, ah, yeah, I'm from the Roma community, and then they say, oh, nice, but this and this, it's true? How often you hear that?
Yeah, or like when you say I'm from the Romani community, and then they try to hide their bag because they think you will steal their money or their bag. I don't know.
Ooh.
So for the non-Romani people who are listening or watching, no, Roma are not criminals, thieves, or they will not scam you. There are maybe some of them criminals, but they are not criminal because they are Roma. So they are maybe
Not
criminal
because
because of
they're
their
Roma.
because they are of their situation maybe. So I don't know why. That was our new rubric called Breaking Stereotypes about Roma. In the beginning, we already mentioned about. So we was talking about our experience in activism. How is it nowadays to be an activist, to participate in events from NGOs? Nowadays, in European countries, many countries have like right wing party or the party who rule, like in Italy or Hungary, example. And now in Germany, also a few months ago, we had the votes, and where the right wing party AfD was very high and had um, a lot of votes. So I think now in Eastern Germany, where you live, is your work very important?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's get worse and worse, harder and harder when you see how many people vote for the right wing. But I'm really glad also that in our city, a lot of people vote for the left wing. So that's really important to know that our city is not. So I'm really glad that also other people vote for other parties, not only for the right wing side. And especially right now in Saxony, in Saxon, it's really hard because it's not really clear right now. So what's going on in our government? We are waiting for project. We need financial help, so we need the financial, and we are waiting for that. So we have not so many projects anymore, and I think it's also in other cities and states in Germany, and it's really important to do your work. So whatever is going on here, do your work, do it with what you have, because it's really important to do it for our future generations.
I'm kind of a little bit scared because it get more right wing, and I already escaped the war, um, 26 years ago, and I don't want to escape again. It's because I don't know how it will be the next 4 or 5 years, as example in Germany. So I think now is the best time for different people who have maybe different opinions to stick together, to unite, and to do against this. And that's why I think doesn't matter how you do educational work about Sinti and Roma or also other topics who are very important, not only about Sinti and Roma. So it doesn't matter how you do it, if you do it just with workshops or like now we do with podcasts or other social media and maybe also like other offline things. It's good to stick together, and you don't need to do together work, but to support each other, because now it's very important to support each other and to do this important educational work. So because I see as example for many years, but people did good work about the Holocaust educational work, and I feel like now in the last 1 2 years or last year, because the right wing got stronger, it kind of they destroy this work, because with their fake news or with their just they have more percent. That means also they have more power in the parliament. That means also maybe less politics solutions for minorities.
What I can say about that, it's do your work, do it with everything what you have, and find connections. And it's not especially only about the Roma topic. It's whatever you do, whatever you like, whatever you uh, want to have in your future, and also for the future generations, do it. I mean, you have demonstrations, you have workshops, do workshops, go to workshops. I mean, we have social media, you can connect with other people. They think the same like you or did this work. And also for us in Roma, and especially Roma organizations, we have a strong connection right now because we know everyone knows it will be hard for us in the future and right now also to do our work. And it's important for us to save that what we did in the past and to create more in the future. And so it's really important. Connection, connection, connection. Guys, connect you.
Yeah. So now, at almost at the end of the podcast, we always share like anecdotes. So, do you know, or do you have some anecdotes, maybe what you can show like very shortly from your work, also maybe from your activism? what you experience. Can be related, but don't need to be.
I don't know. What I can say is, I mean, it's also good for our work with everyone. It's not only about you're Roma or not Roma, it's the connection. And when I do something like workshops and you see in the faces that was good and they learned something or they have fun with you and you build this connection and this trust, that's the best thing what you can get. So it was a dance workshop. I did the dance workshop in La Dives, and I know that we dance a lot, and then all the people who are not Roma, they was so good. They was so good, and they dance and make freestyle, and everyone dance together, and that shows us we are humans. We are kind all the same. So be a human, be kind, and be respectful.
I would like to share an anecdote from last year, maybe if you can remember. Uh, so now already the circle is closing because in the beginning, when we talked about the NGOs, you mentioned the Bundesjugendtreffen from Amaro Voice, like the national workshop and connecting meeting, what is every year. So last year, we both was co-facilitating during the workshop about podcasting, and
Right.
um, I remember that some people got sick. Then at the end of the workshop, you got very sick, and after that, I got very sick, and we got very sick. And when I came home, I was maybe like sick for 1 month, like very strongly sick when I came home. I mean, I almost got sick during the workshop with fever and like flu. But when I came home, I was maybe sick for 1 month, but it was also, it shows when you are activist, when you are a journalist and do about Roma topics, or when you have similar work and you are like do NGO work, and when you have important events, and when it can happen that through events to get sick, but you need to continue your work because it's no time. So even if we are sick, we are continue our work. So it was kinda it was not a good experience. So, I mean, it's better to be healthy and to do a workshop, but it's also kind of interesting to do this experience, to be sick. But because when you are sick, you have like bad mood, but you need to be professional. You cannot show your bad moods. That means like you need to control yourself, not to have a bad mood and to focus to continue your professional work. But it was very interesting and also
I mean, now you have this, now you can talk about that.
yeah.
Only for this episode. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really, really
Yeah.
bad for us. Everyone was sick. Everyone.
Yeah.
But it was important to do that, and it was really good. But yeah, I was also
And
really, really sick.
I mean, at the end, maybe the positive, because when something bad happened to me, I always try to find some positives from this experience. Because when I came home, I was like for 1 month sick, and I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't like on the internet, so it's like with this, I had kind of some break from the internet. So I just was like watching series and movies, and but I wasn't like on Instagram. I wasn't responding on WhatsApp. I wasn't doing my mails. Of course, I couldn't work, but I mean, like you're always on your phone. It's also good to have some break from that.
It's like social media detox.
Yeah.
And so you have something positive with this time.
So we are coming to the end. Do you have any closing words?
It was a nice first episode for me. Guys, I'm really happy, and I'm really excited about the next episodes.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I'm glad that you managed to be part of this podcast as our new co-moderator. I'm also excited for the next episodes. I think it will be interesting and good. like a series of 10 episodes. Thanks for watching or listening. Ciao and Dev Lessa. This podcast is funded by the Stiftung Erinnerung, Verantwortung und Zukunft e.V.Z. as part of the project Amaro Voice, digitale Bildungsarbeit über die Communities der europäischen Sinti und Roma bei der NGO Medien und Kulturzentrum Deutscher Roma e.V.